Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine in a place that's supposed to be peaceful? For old John, the night guard at Blackwood Cemetery, that feeling became his nightly reality. Blackwood wasn't just any cemetery. It was ancient, with tombstones leaning like tired old men, their inscriptions weathered by centuries of rain and wind. John had taken the job for the quiet, a stark contrast to his noisy life in the city. He enjoyed the solitude, the hooting of owls, and the rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze. He thought he knew every stone, every name, every date. But one moonless night, that all changed. He was making his usual rounds, his heavy flashlight cutting a bright path through the darkness. He paused by the grave of a man named Alistair Finch, a name he'd read 100 times. But tonight, the name wasn't Alistair Finch. Etched into the cold, damp stone was the name Eleanor Vance. John blinked, rubbing his eyes. He shined his light on it again. Eleanor Vance, 1888 to 1921. He swore on his life it had been Alistair just the night before. Shaken, he checked another familiar stone. That of a young woman named Clara. Now it read Thomas Albright. He stumbled back, his heart pounding against his ribs. What was happening? Night after night, the phenomenon continued. John started keeping a meticulous log, mapping the graves and their shifting identities. The names changed, but they seemed to be cycling through a set of names he didn't recognize. He felt like he was losing his mind. Was it a prank? A very elaborate, impossible prank? Or was it something else, something from beyond the veil of the living? The cemetery, once a place of tranquil rest, now felt like a shifting, breathing entity, playing a sinister game with him as its only audience. He started seeing shadows move in his peripheral vision and hearing whispers that sounded like his own name on the wind. His wife, Mary, begged him to quit. "John, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, this job is killing you," she'd plead. But John couldn't let it go. He was obsessed, determined to understand the mystery of the moving graves. He felt a strange pull, as if the cemetery itself was daring him to uncover its secret. He told himself he was just tired, that his mind was playing tricks on him. But deep down, he knew something was terribly wrong. He had to know the truth, even if it cost him his sanity. One night, armed with his flashlight and a new sense of dread-filled determination, he decided to confront whatever was happening. The air was heavy and cold, the moon hidden behind thick, dark clouds. He walked directly to the section where the changes were most frequent. He shined his light on the first tombstone, Samuel Pike. He knew that one should have been Isabel Croft. He moved to the next and the next, each name different from the night before. His hands trembled as he approached a large, ornate headstone under an ancient oak tree. This was where he'd seen the name Alistair Finch on his first night. He took a deep breath, preparing for another strange name, and pointed his beam at the inscription. His blood ran cold. The breath hitched in his throat. Carved deep into the granite, as if it had been there for 100 years, was a name he knew all too well, his own Jonathan Miller. Beneath it, a date of birth, his birth date. Next to it, a dash, followed by a single, freshly carved date. Today's date. He dropped his flashlight, its beam spinning wildly on the ground, illuminating the faces of the surrounding tombstones. In that frantic, flickering light, he saw them. Every single tombstone, as far as his eyes could see, now bore his name. Jonathan Miller. Over and over. He was in a graveyard of himself. A scream was trapped in his throat as the world around him began to warp and fade into darkness. The next morning, the town sheriff found John's still glowing flashlight lying on a patch of freshly turned earth. Beside it stood a new yet ancient-looking headstone that hadn't been there the day before. On it was an old, faded photograph of John, his eyes smiling out at a world he was no longer a part of. The inscription beneath it was simple: Jonathan Miller. The cemetery was quiet, peaceful once more, its dark secret now buried 6 feet under. Thanks so much for listening to this chilling tale. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that will haunt your dreams. Stay safe, and see you in the next video.